everyone and welcome to another episode of The Jamie Hughes Show. My name as always is Jamie Hughes and today I'm going to be running down the Oscars 2018 5 biggest nomination snubs. So this poll was taken by American movie site Fandango, who after the nominations were released a poll to 1,000 of their users and asked them what they thought the biggest Oscar snub this year was. So this is their list. I'm going to run it down for you now and we'll start from the smallest to the biggest, and first up with 6% of the votes was Martin McDermott not getting a nomination for Best Director for 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Now, I'm kind of okay with this one. Like, 3 Billboards is like up for every other big award basically, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna sweep in most of them. I'm really hoping it wins Best Film. It would have been nice to have seen Martin McDermott get a nomination for this, but I'm okay with it. I think there were better directed films out there. So yeah, it's kind of like an okay this one. I see the point, but it's not the end of the world. Next up with 7% of the votes was Jessica Chastain not getting a Best Actress nod for her portrayal of Molly Bloom in Molly's Game. And again, this is kind of a weird one. I loved Molly's Game. I thought Jessica Chastain was brilliant, as was Idris Elba. And it does kind of feel weird that she hasn't got a nomination for this, but there probably are better performances out there, but it does kind of feel weird that she wasn't nominated. And next up, with 9% of the votes, was Tom Hanks not getting a nomination for Best Actor in The Post. Now this is kind of, it feels like a very significant one, this one. It feels like a momentum shift is happening in Hollywood, where the Oscars are kind of noticing younger talents and kind of promoting younger talents more, because to be honest with you, I do think Tom Hanks does give an Oscar nomination worthy performance in The Post, but it does feel like a lot of younger guys have been chosen before him, except one, and we'll get on to him at the minute. But yeah, like, this is kind of gutting because I love Tom Hanks and he's a big name, and the fact that he hasn't been nominated does feel, as I say, like a momentum shift in the way the Oscars are going to be going. Next up, the second highest snub on this list, it is James Franco not getting a nomination for Best Actor for his portrayal of Tommy Wiseau in The Disaster Artist. Now this one has been met with quite a lot of backlash. Let's not forget, Franco won Best Actor in a musical or comedy for his role as Wiseau at this year's Golden Globes, and then he hasn't been nominated for an Oscar. Now a lot of people say there's been a bit of backlash about this. A lot of people feel it's been down to the recent accusations that have been made against James Franco. Now, if that is the case, then I do think the Academy are kind of being a bit hypocritical there, but let's not focus on that too much. I mean, that's just a completely sad situation all round for everybody involved, and I do hope it gets sorted in the right possible way. But yeah, it does feel like a weird, overlook and a weird snub, because he's already had awards for this movie and he's already had a lot of critical acclaim, and the fact he hasn't been nominated, it does look like a glaring gap in that Best Actor list. So topping off this list, the biggest movie that was snubbed at this year's Oscar, according to Fandango users, it got a whopping, and I mean a whopping 39% of the votes from this poll, and that is Wonder Woman. Now, to an extent, I just don't understand this, but I get where, like, a lot of the Fandango users were saying it should have been nominated for like Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress. I think they are kind of shooting for the stars with that one. Maybe not Best Director so much, but maybe the other two. I think there were better films and better performances from actresses this year. But what's weird about this snub is that Wonder Woman was not nominated for one single thing. Not Best Sound, Best Editing, Visual Effects, Sound Design, Costume, anything like that. And I did think this was a weird one, and I thought, well, maybe because, you know, Wonder Woman is kind of construed as a blockbuster, maybe they've kind of just disregarded it and not really thought about it. But then I looked a little bit deeper, and in Best Visual Effects, you do have Guardians of the Galaxy being nominated, Kong Skull Island, and The Last Jedi, which you would, again, categorise as blockbusters. So it is a very weird situation. Like, I can't answer the question as to why the Academy has snubbed Wonder Woman, but like, I get it with like actress, director, and picture. There were probably better movies out there, but for all those kind of minor categories, you do feel like that Wonder Woman would have had a decent chance. It's just a very weird thing. So that is Fandango's list. I'm just going to reel out a couple of mine that I thought were a bit weird that didn't make the cuts and kind of nominations I would have liked to have seen. So as happy as I was that Logan got a Best Adapted Screenplay nod, I really would have liked to seen Hugh Jackman get a Best Actor nomination and also see Patrick Stewart get a Best Supporting Actor nomination. I'm fine with it. I really hope Logan wins Best Adapted Screenplay. I don't think it's going to though. I think that'll go to The Disaster Artist. But another big one was Baby Driver not getting Best Director for Edgar Wright. I loved the style and the feel of that movie, and it all came down to that one man. But again, I can live with that because I do hope it wins all the categories it's nominated in, which is like sound design, editing and all that. So I'm happy with that one. And then kind of another small weird one, which again is not a big thing, but The Post wasn't nominated for Best Original Score for John Williams. I really thought it would have. I thought it had a great soundtrack. Now, I don't think Williams is going to be too fussed because he is in there for The Last Jedi, but you know, it's just a weird omission from what I thought would have been a shoo-in for Best Original Score. That is Fandango's list. That is my list. Let me know down in the comments below which movies and actors and actresses you're gutted didn't get an Oscar nomination this year, as always, down in the comments below. Let me know your predictions for the Oscars as well down there as well. And thank you very much for watching this episode of The Jamie Hughes Show. If you did enjoy it, then make sure you stick around and hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with all the latest movie news and reviews. Want to give it a like as well because it just helps me out and lets me know that you're enjoying these videos. Thank you very much for watching this episode of The Jamie Hughes Show. I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ra.